Well, you might as well. This is another.
It's
Just
a Trump
shows you
show.
how shitty CNN is and how incompetent they are. And so these are just some of the headlines from 2021. Oh, go back. 2021, painkillers should be investigated to developing fetuses. 2017, study links acetaminophen in pregnancy to ADHD. That's
Acetaminophen.
Tylenol,
Yeah.
basically. 2016, the active ingredient that they use in Tylenol during pregnancy may increase risk of hyperactivity in kids. So let's click in the image. And so you look at these headlines. Trump links autism to, how do you say it?
Acetaminophen. Acetaminophen.
Acetaminophen. Use during pregnancy despite decades of evidence it's safe. Common painkiller should be investigated for possible risk to developing fetuses, experts say. Study links acetaminophen in pregnancy to ADHD, but experts question the results. Acetaminophen during pregnancy may increase risk of hyperactivity in kids. These are all from CNN. I mean, they don't even know what they're fucking saying. They're talking out their ass. So, based on all this previous reporting, the links are there, but now since Trump said it, oh, it's totally untrue. It's fucking ridiculous. They can't even speak the fucking truth. And then you got Tylenol on their website. We actually don't recommend using any of our products while pregnant. Thank you for taking the time to voice your concerns today. So even Tylenol says, hey, don't take our shit when you're pregnant. But yet CNN's going, oh, there's just no evidence. It's, I can't believe Trump is doing. And then the World Health, Organization came out as well. Oh, there's just no evidence based on what he's saying. It's just anything he says or does, they want the opposite. It's just ridiculous.
If I can, just for a second, I recently saw a man from Minnesota, an Amish man from Minnesota, on a podcast, and the host asked him what the rates were for like ADHD and autism, and he had no idea about ADHD, didn't know that it existed, and certainly didn't know of any cases.
And
What are they
it doesn't exist with the Amish community, and they don't take all of this junk. It doesn't exist. That tells you, doesn't that tell? That's like, that's like certain countries where it doesn't exist and they don't take it.
Yeah, especially with the whole ADHD thing, so much of that is diet. Like, look at like a little kid's snack. It's all just processed foods, high in fucking sugars. No wonder the kids are bouncing off the walls.
Yeah.
Like, it makes total sense. Like, they eat shit, and then they're giving all this other stuff too that just doesn't help in general. Well, it's for profit. The whole school food.
Bottom
industry
line
for
is the Amish, they don't have these
Yeah.
issues because they're not injecting their kids with this stuff. And they're also not taking Tylenol either, but I mean, it's absurd.
They don't
I
have.
mean, everybody's kind of known
Yeah.
what the real cause was, but you weren't able to discuss it because there's no evidence. Remember, we were discussing last week the scientist of the CDC who published the gold standard of, hey, there's no links to autism and vaccines. He just got arrested in Germany because he's been on the run for the last several years for embezzling almost $1 million in funds from the CDC. He's a fucking criminal. And if he's a criminal and he was doing things for money, obviously it's clearly he was paid off. It's like they don't care about the truth. And yet we're supposed to just, oh, this is the gold standard. It's the CDC. Well, you got criminals running it and people that are corrupt. You can't trust what they say. Well, why don't we watch this next one? So this was part of the same news conference on, what the potential links were to autism and like I think he's talking about the MMR vaccine, which when I got that, it was MMR, it was all three, measles, mumps, rubella was all part of one vaccine. And I remember, I don't know, 6, 7 days after it, I got like shingles all over me, like these welts, red welts all over me. It was itchy. And it went away, but that was like one of the side effects of it. So what he's saying is that measles should be taken by itself, mumps should be taken by itself, and the rubella vaccine should be taken by itself and nothing else. Because when you mix them is when you have problems, especially the younger you.
I also, and we've already done this, we want no mercury in the vaccine. We want no aluminum in the vaccine. The MMR, I think, should be taken separately. This is based on what I feel the uh, mumps, measles, and all the three should be taken separately. And it seems to be that when you mix them, there could be a problem. So there's no downside in taking them separately. In fact, they think it's better, so let it be separate. The chicken pox is already separate because when that got mixed in, I guess they made it four for a while. It really was bad. So they make chicken pox. Individually, they're okay. When you mix them, something maybe happens. So there's no downside in doing it. It's not like, oh, if you do it, bad things. No, it's only good side. And it may not have that much of an impact, but it may have a big impact.
And the thing with the mercury, why is mercury even in the vaccines in the first place? If we were literally told don't eat so much fish because you could get mercury poisoning, why the fuck is it in a vaccine?
I think it's used to sterilize the equipment. I think that's what it is. So you're gonna get residual trace
Yeah.
amounts of it in there. Just like there's another begins with a T, something else that's in the vaccines that they use to clean the equipment, but you always get some of it that ends up in the vaccines. It's extremely toxic. I can't think. It's a neurotoxin. It's not good for the body, but there's trace elements in every single vaccine. Thimerosal, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Is that their
Make sure you get your boosters, though.
next one? We got one more in this series. This one is about space in the vaccines out. Remember, last week we were discussing what Bobby Kennedy was saying was that I think it was in 2000 there was a study done amongst black children to look at who kids that followed the vaccine schedule versus kids whose parents spaced out the vaccines over several years, and the black kids that did the schedule as they were told, there was a 240% increase in autism in those kids versus the ones whose parents spaced it out. So that's obviously, I mean, anybody with common sense can look at that. And then so what was crazy about that is when the study was done, the top scientists at the CDC said, you got to destroy all that data and hide it. They didn't want to release it to the public. So in other words, they knew it was a problem. They knew it would create, more autism cases, but for whatever reason, I assume because they were bought off by the pharmaceutical companies, or maybe they were hoping to get a board seat on a cushy board seat on one of the pharmaceutical companies after they left government. That's why they just looked the other way.
Same thing happens with our food too. Like, why do you think like red 40 or orange 18 or all these things are banned in Europe? All over the rest of the world has these chemicals and stuff banned, but we're just putting it all in our food.
Well, Fauci was making money on these different vaccine. What do you call it?
Like 73% of our food is not food.
But he was getting paid, tens of millions of dollars in kickbacks because I guess he was involved in creating some of them, and so he's making money off of it. So he's not really an unbiased member of the government. And last I heard, Fauci's hiding out in Italy because people in the United States hate him so much he can't go anywhere without people talking shit or threatening him. So
yeah, Luca, Japan's awesome. All right, I'll play the video.
And it's so important to me to see the doctor 4 times or 5 times for a vaccine. Don't let them pump your baby up with the largest pile of stuff you've ever seen in your life going into the delicate little body of a baby. Even if it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you just break it up into, I would say 5, but let's say 4 visits to the doctor instead of 1. And certain things I think you should do. We've already taken out and are in the process of taking out mercury and aluminum now. You know what mercury is. You know what aluminum is. Who the hell wants that pumped into a body? And there were rumors about both of them for a long time, but we're having them taken out. We're having them taken out of the vaccines. Hepatitis B, again, that's
Yeah, hepatitis B, what he was saying is that around 12 years old, you don't need to be giving that to a baby. The baby's not sexually active, and especially if the mother doesn't have it, it's unnecessary. It's an extra load on their immune system. And the more you dump in there, the higher the likelihood that something is going to break. So this is interesting. In 1983, there were 10 vaccines in the schedule. By 2013, there were 32 vaccines. 5 years later, there are 74 vaccines. And now in 2024, there were 90. This was last year. There
Jesus,
were 90
90?
vaccines on the schedule. And the autism rates in 1983 was 1 in 10,000. 2013 was 1 in 88. 2018, 1 in 36. In 2024, it's 1 in 32.
90?
That's just fucking nuts. Anybody can look at that data and go, there's a fucking problem there. Something is fucked up. And like I said, just that study that Bobby was talking about last week during a news conference, the one where it showed a 240% increase in autism cases when black kids followed the schedule. And in other words, the parents pumped them full of stuff according to the CDC schedule versus the parents that spread it out. 240% more incidence of autism when you did it all at once or in a short period of time. 240% less when you spread it out over several years. I mean, that's just common sense. I mean, you can just look at the data and go, shit's fucked up. And then we know what Kennedy said. There's thousands of cases like that. There were thousands of cases where they did a study, the data came back, and it didn't look good. And they said, destroy the data, delete the study. Don't tell anybody. They were doing it constantly. And you think about all the millions and millions of kids that got autism. If this stuff would have come out decades ago,
Well, they're hiding it for they're hiding
unconscionable. These people committed crimes against humanity.
just for profit, and just because they're probably evil too, and they probably get off to it.